Modern trucks have never been more impressive. They tow more, haul more, accelerate faster than sports cars from just a decade ago. They're quieter, smarter, safer, and packed with technology that promises to make every drive easier. On paper, this should be the golden age of truck ownership. But if you've talked to owners who actually live with these machines every day, you'll hear a very different story. Because while trucks keep getting more powerful, they're also becoming harder to own. And that's not an accident. Most people think they're buying horsepower, towing capacity, and luxury features. In reality, they're buying something far more complicated. You're no longer purchasing just a mechanical vehicle. You're buying a rolling computer with dozens of interconnected control modules, millions of lines of software code, and systems that often depend on digital communication just as much as steel and aluminum. The truck in your driveway isn't simply an engine with four wheels anymore. It's an ecosystem. That changes everything. Years ago, owning a truck meant learning how it worked. A basic toolbox, a repair manual, and a weekend in the garage could solve many common problems. If a sensor failed, you replaced the sensor. If a battery died, you installed a new one and kept driving. Repairs were inconvenient, but they were usually understandable. Today's trucks are different. One failed sensor can trigger warning messages across multiple systems. A replacement battery may need to be electronically registered with the vehicle. A new headlight assembly might require programming before it functions correctly. Even replacing a side mirror can involve recalibrating cameras and driver assistance systems. What once took a wrench now often requires specialized diagnostic equipment, manufacturer software, and access to information unavailable to the average owner. The irony is impossible to ignore. Trucks are more capable than ever, yet owners often have less control than ever before. And here's where the story gets even more interesting. Manufacturers aren't just building better engines. They're building software platforms. Every year, more functions move away from purely mechanical components and into digital control systems. Transmission behavior, engine performance, safety systems, climate controls, infotainment, driver assistance. Even simple convenience features are increasingly managed by software. That software brings undeniable benefits. Over-the-air updates can improve functionality. Advanced towing technology makes pulling heavy trailers safer. Adaptive cruise control reduces fatigue on long trips. Cameras provide visibility that older trucks could never match. But software also introduces new dependencies. When software becomes essential, diagnostics become essential. When diagnostics become proprietary, repairs become more restrictive. And when repairs become more restrictive, ownership starts to change. Imagine this scenario. Your truck develops an electronic fault just outside the warranty period. The engine itself is perfectly healthy. The transmission is mechanically sound. But one electronic control module fails. The replacement part isn't enough by itself. It has to be programmed. The programming requires manufacturer-approved software. That software isn't always available to independent repair shops. Suddenly, what could have been a relatively simple repair turns into dealership scheduling, higher labor costs, and additional downtime. For many owners, the expensive part isn't the component. It's access. Access to software. Access to diagnostic tools. Access to authorized repair procedures. This shift affects more than repairs. It changes how long vehicles remain economical to own. As trucks become increasingly digital, long-term ownership depends not only on mechanical durability but also on software support, replacement electronics, and continued availability of specialized repair equipment. Think about that for a moment. People often buy trucks expecting to keep them for 15 or 20 years. That's been one of the greatest strengths of pickup ownership for generations. Reliability, longevity, durability. But longevity today isn't determined only by how long the engine lasts. It's determined by whether the technology surrounding that engine can still be maintained years down the road. And that's a question very few buyers ask before signing the paperwork. The companies building these trucks aren't creating weak products. In many ways, today's pickups are engineering masterpieces. They meet stricter safety regulations, tougher emissions standards, and customer demands for luxury, connectivity, and performance all at the same time. That level of complexity requires advanced electronics and sophisticated software. The challenge isn't that technology exists. The challenge is understanding what comes with it. More technology often means more specialized repairs. More electronic modules mean more potential failure points. More software integration means more dependence on tools that average owners may never possess. That's why two trucks with identical mileage can have dramatically different ownership experiences. One owner may only perform regular maintenance for years. Another may face a costly electronic issue that has nothing to do with engine wear or driver abuse. Modern truck ownership has become less predictable. So what's the smart move? Think of it as the ownership advantage strategy. Before buying any modern truck, don't stop at horsepower numbers or towing ratings. Ask questions that most buyers never think to ask. How many features rely on software updates? Which connected services require subscriptions after the free trial ends? Can major electronic components be serviced by independent repair shops? How long does the manufacturer typically provide software support? What happens if a critical module fails after the warranty expires? How expensive are common electronic repairs compared to mechanical ones? These questions won't eliminate every risk, but they'll give you a much clearer picture of what ownership actually looks like beyond the showroom. Next, invest in preventative maintenance before problems appear. Keep your battery healthy, because unstable voltage can create unexpected electronic issues. Install software updates when they're recommended through official channels. Address warning lights early instead of waiting for multiple systems to be affected. Small issues are often cheaper to resolve before they trigger larger diagnostic problems. And perhaps most importantly, choose a truck based on your real needs, not just the biggest numbers on the brochure. Every additional luxury feature, advanced driver assistance system, or electronically controlled option adds convenience, but it may also add long-term complexity. Sometimes the smartest truck isn't the most loaded one. It's the one that balances capability with manageable ownership. The owners who understand this aren't anti-technology. They simply recognize that buying a truck today means evaluating more than engines and transmissions. They're thinking about software, repairability, service networks, update policies, and long-term support. That's the new definition of truck ownership. Power isn't the whole story anymore. Capability isn't the whole story either. The real question is whether you'll still be able to afford, repair, and enjoy that truck 10 years from now. Because the strongest truck in the world doesn't feel very powerful if you're the one who no longer controls how it's maintained. And as manufacturers continue adding more software, more connectivity, and more digital systems into every new model, one even bigger question is beginning to emerge. Who will truly own the trucks of the future, the people who buy them, or the companies that control the software running inside them?